We're going to talk about a subject that I think every single one of us struggle with. I know I struggle with it every single day. And that is my own self-talk. That is wanting to make sure that I'm not defined by my past. I want to make a statement. Your future is your choice. Your past doesn't define you. And when you accept that, you can live powerfully in the moment. And so today I want to talk about something that can get in our way, and that is the messages or the narratives that every single one of us have. Our self-talk, the way we view ourselves, is the determiner of our failure or our success. How many of us in this room have an inner critic? How many of us? Every single one of us. Now, if you think you're all alone, you are not alone. Every single one of us have an inner critic. Every single one of us. And we're going to talk about today how to quiet that inner critic, because it is a game changer in your performance. What are some of the things that you say to yourself sometimes? Be honest. Don't let your little critic win the day right now. What do they say? Yes, sir.
You're not worthy.
I'm not worthy. That's what mine says. Oh my gosh. Who else? What's it say? Yes.
I'm letting people down.
Oh my gosh. I'm letting everybody down. Who else? Ladies, what are some of your inner critics say?
You're not smart.
Oh my gosh. I'm not smart enough. We all live with our inner critic. And we battle it every day. Now let me give you some incredible encouragement. It never stops. How's that? It never stops. I've had people say to me, when am I going to master this? When is it going to go away? And I say, it will never go away. The difference is it mastering you or are you mastering it? If you want greater results in your life, in any area, whether it's coaching, whether it's academics, whether it's in your relationships, whether it is maximizing your potential, whatever it is, you're not going to get there until you change your current behavior that's not getting there. You cannot know joy in your life if you give in to the shame of your inner critic. Brene Brown says, neuroscience and her own research says that the shame from our inner critic can absolutely shut down the learning centers in our brain that keep us from growing and developing. This is a big, big deal. Your message will determine whether you play it safe or whether you're going to meet your dreams. Your message system is going to determine whether you maximize your opportunities or you waste them every single day. And so let me also say this. It's not just personal. It's also corporate. There are entire companies that battle with their own inner critic. Every company has its own inner critic. You know what our inner critic does? Our inner critic creates anxiety. Unrelenting, unremitting anxiety. You know what anxiety does? There's two things about anxiety that you need to know about. Number one, anxiety is a liar. Anxiety maximizes the worst and minimizes the best. The other thing about anxiety, it builds bridges to creeks that you never get to. Did you hear that? How many times have we obsessed about issues knowing that it is bound to happen, and it never even happens? There is a good part about our inner critic. If you are managing it, that it can create positive stress. Positive stress is, I am going to meet the moment. But it can also create negative distress. Negative distress is destructive. It says don't even try. Don't attempt it. Now here's the kicker. Your inner critic is there because it's designed to keep you from failure. I call it my inner protector. But the reality is when I'm giving into my inner critic, it's not protecting me. That's the irony. The inner critic said, don't do it, you're over your head. It's not worth it, don't stick your neck out, don't make the effort because you'll fail. But yet in not making the effort, not sticking your head out, not taking the risk, guess what you set yourself up for? Failure. And so how do you deal with that? How do you deal with the inner voices in your head so that you're not accepting it? How do you handle it so it becomes good stress and not distress? Let me give you five helps. Number one, bring it out of the shadows. When it's operating invisibly, that's when it has its most power. Bring it out of the shadows. Carl Jung, the great American psychologist, said this in regard to your inner critic. You must take your inner message that is unconscious and make it conscious. From the back of the mind to the front of the mind so that you're always aware. And he wrote that if you don't make it conscious, front of mind, it will define your limitations and you will call it fate. He called it a choice that you made to give power to your inner critic. The second is this: put distance between you and your inner critic. Now, what do you mean by that? You've got to get to the point, look, you are not your thoughts unless you make that choice. Effective leaders acknowledge that that inner voice is there, but then they choose to see it. I'm going to observe those thoughts. I am not going to become those thoughts. The third is this: stop giving your inner critic fuel by comparing yourself to others. When you start comparing yourself to others, you will always fuel your inner critic. Oh my gosh, I've got to be who that person is. I've got to have a coaching style like that person. I've got to be like my mentor was. Listen, your challenge is to become your best self. Your inner critic says that's not enough. Your worst self is to become someone that you're not. And here's the fifth one. Practice constructive self-talk. Every time you're about to go into the moment, talk yourself through it. Talk to yourself before you go into it. I got this. I can do this. I belong here. I'm not an outsider. Part of that is trusting your history. Where's the proof? I ask people that all the time. Where's the proof that you don't think you belong? Where's the proof that you don't think that you can step up and you can do this job? Tell me, where's the proof? Have you succeeded in the past? Well, yes. Have you done this in the past? Well, yes. Well, then, have you changed? Are you a different person? No. Well, the person who did that yesterday can do that today. Where's the proof? The three most powerful words that you can use to change your direction and to quiet your narrative is this: I am enough. I am enough. I can do this. It takes as much effort to declare that you're not enough as it does to declare you are enough. If it takes as much effort, why don't you make it work for you instead of tearing yourself down? Thanks, guys.